Rams house. Welcome into a brand new episode of the Rams Report by Chat Sports. Today I'm filming at home, but I wanted to talk about two of the hires that the Rams have made over the last couple of days, both on the defensive end, and I think they're both excellent decisions for this football team. I think they kind of continue a pattern that we've seen from Sean McVay over the last couple of years. Honestly, since the beginning of his career with the Rams, we've seen this pattern, and this pattern works out more often than it doesn't. So we're going to talk about the pattern, and we're going to talk about the two hires and how they fit into it on today's episode. But if you're new around here, my name is Jackson Durham. You are watching the Rams Report by Chat Sports. We always appreciate you tuning in, and let's go ahead and get right into this thing. So Sean McVay has a fantastic history with college coaches. He's hired a number of them since becoming the Rams head coach in 2017. I think one of the guys that's really getting a lot of buzz right now that is a standout of that group, Nate Scheelhaase. Obviously received a number of interviews to be a head coach across the NFL this offseason. The Browns wanted him. The Bills wanted him in for interviews. Didn't ultimately end up landing those roles, but I don't think he's going to have to wait very much longer to be the next offensive coordinator from the Sean McVay tree to become a head coach. And I say offensive coordinator because I do think he's going to get that promotion very soon. And he's coming in from Iowa State, where he was excellent for the Cyclones for a couple of years there. Really good offensive coordinator at Iowa State. Got to call the plays there. So if he does become our offensive coordinator, it won't be the first time that he's been in that role. And if you want Nate Scheelhaase to be the offensive coordinator of the Los Angeles Rams like I do, if you want him to continue that tradition, keep the continuity going, he coached and helped get one of the best seasons of Stafford's career, honestly, just the best season of Stafford's career, helped him win an MVP award. If you want Nate Scheelhaase to be the Rams offensive coordinator, like today's video. I think he's thrived in Los Angeles. He's done such a great job of helping Matthew Stafford thrive. I think he needs to be our next offensive coordinator. And I think he's a great example of collegiate collegiate coaches having success under Sean McVay. Another one, Ron Gold, a little bit of an older guy, but he came in from Stanford to be the RB coach. Not really calling him old, but just compared to some of the college head coach, or again, I keep saying head coaches, college coaches that Sean McVay has hired. Gold was on the older end, but he came over from Stanford, and he's done a great job as our running back coach. He's helped develop Kyron Williams, helped develop Blake Corum. Both of those guys started out slow as rookies, did not really contribute before taking big steps in their second seasons. I think we might see a similar pattern from Hunter, who a lot of people have been dismayed about how low the production was from him this year. Watch out for next season to be a really big one for Jarquez Hunter. I think he could be a fantastic piece of this offense, although volume's going to be a little tough to find, but I think he'll do great work with what he gets. And then you got Eric Yarber. One of the, I think, unsung heroes of this coaching staff. Yarber has been with McVay since he started in 2017 as our receivers coach. And you go through the list of receivers that this guy has coached, and it is unbelievable. Cooper Kupp, he developed from draft day. Puka Nacua, he's developed from draft day. Jordan Whittington, Konate Mupfield in more recent years. But OBJ, Robert Woods, Sammy Watkins for a little bit there. Just an unbelievable. Davante Adams, he's gotten to coach for a year. I wouldn't say he's developed Davante Adams, but he got a great year with Davante Adams as his receivers coach. An unbelievable track record of receiver coaching for Eric Yarber, who came over from UCLA as their coach. And then you got Joe Caniglio coming from Navy as an outside linebackers coach. He's developed Jared Verse, developed Byron Young. I think he's done a great job with Josiah Stewart in his first year, and I think Stewart will take a big step in year two. All of these coaches that we've just talked about, Nate Scheelhaase, Ron Gold, Eric Yarber, Joe Caniglio, are all college hires that Sean McVay has made, and they've worked. And I think that this pattern will continue to work with the next two additions in it. Michael Hunter is the first one that we're going to talk about, coming in from Tennessee, kind of / Ohio State. So he got the job at Tennessee last month to become their defensive back coach, had been at Ohio State the 2 years prior, but we just kind of poached him away from the Volunteers. So he's going to come over and be our defensive back coach. And when you look at his resume and his track record, when you combine that with the track record McVay has of picking the right fruit from the college ranks, I think this is going to be an absolute home run. Davison Igbinosun. Let's just go through a couple guys that he's coached in the last few years. Davison Igbinosun, first-team All-Big Ten. Caleb Downs, two-time unanimous first-team All-American and Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year under Michael Hunter's watch. Jermaine Matthews Jr., third-team All-Big Ten at corner. Lathan Ransom in 2024, first-team All-Big Ten at safety. 4 first-team All-Big Ten selections, or just 4 All-Big Ten selections in 2 seasons of coaching defensive backs, 3 of those first-team selections, and he also coached the best defensive back in all of college football in the last 2 seasons, safety Caleb Downs, who, mind you, is available in the draft this year, in the 2026 NFL Draft. Is he going to be available at 13 is a whole different question. But could the hiring of Michael Hunter make him a draft target for us? Absolutely, it could. Might be somebody you'd have to trade up for. Would that be something you guys would be interested in doing? If he's on the board at 13, I think he would be a home run pick. Absolute. I mean, if he's there at 13, you got to take him. He's got to be the pick. He'd be the best player on the board by a wide berth. But I don't think he's going to be on the board at 13. But would you be interested in trading up for Caleb Downs? Would you be interested in making aggressive moves to go get a guy like Caleb Downs? If you are, I want you to like today's video. If not, I want you to comment why and who your biggest target in the draft in 2026 is. Let me know. Again, not sure Downs is going to be available at 13. That's something you're going to have to be aggressive to go get. But either way, I don't think it necessarily has to be just about Caleb Downs with the hiring of Michael Hunter. I think he's shown he's got a great track record of developing young defensive backs over the last couple of years at Ohio State. And even if you don't get Downs, you could get Jermod McCoy. You could get Mansour Delane. You could be aggressive in the trade market and go get somebody like Trent McDuffie or sign a Jalen Watson. All these options that we've talked about. Tariq Woolen's still pretty young. He would be great at developing and coaching any of those guys. I think he's a home run in that department because we need to get better in the secondary, and Michael Hunter has a great track record of developing young talent, and we're very likely to bring in a swath of young talent in that room this year. We're just going to have to flip the room. There's a lot of guys that are coming out. We've got to bring in new corners. Very likely that a good selection of them are going to be younger guys. I think Michael Hunter's going to do a great job of shepherding that room and of developing those guys. So huge hire there. I think that's going to be a major win. Robert Wright is the other one. This was actually broke this morning. This is what told me, you know what, I need to make a video. I need to talk about these 2 hires because I think they kind of go together in terms of defensive improvement and McVay's tendency to hire from the college ranks and hire really great guys from the college ranks. I think Wright, who's been the co-defensive coordinator at Syracuse last year and the defensive coordinator at Buffalo prior to that, is such an excellent fit for what Chris Shula likes to do on defense. And I think he kind of gap fills a little bit for this Rams defense and this Rams defensive staff in a way that has been an issue over the last couple of years. Development of linebackers and focus on the linebacker position has lacked. I think as Rams fans, we can be honest about that. It just isn't a position that we've put a ton of emphasis into. It's worked out for us okay, but Robert Wright, that's his specialty. Linebackers and coaching linebackers, that's kind of been his thing throughout his career. And one of the linebackers that he's coached, I know some of you guys are already putting 2 and 2 together on this when I mentioned Buffalo, Shaun Dolac. He coached him during his junior season, if I remember correctly, in 2023 when he was there as the defensive coordinator at Buffalo. That's been kind of the major narrative across Rams Twitter about this hire, which I totally understand. There is absolutely a connection there. I don't want to poo-poo that at all. That's not what I'm trying to do. I do think it's important to note, though, that was the year that Dolac played just 4 games, missed a lot of time due to an injury, and then he actually did intend to enter the transfer portal before they ultimately let Robert Wright go. Not saying that him entering the transfer portal was related to Robert Wright, but he did come back. So I don't know. You make of that what you'll make of that. I'm not trying to suggest that he transferred because of Robert Wright. I am just saying that it's not like he got the best season that Shaun has ever had in his career when he was the defensive coordinator there. Like, I feel like some people are kind of trying to suggest But it is a notable connection there. And I do think that it would not surprise me at all if we enter this next season and Dolac takes a big step and really starts to develop, because I do think he showed some good flashes in the limited amount of play time that he got. But I also wouldn't bet on that. You know what I mean? I do think it's going to be best guys in the room, whoever wins out those jobs. I don't think that Shaun's just going to necessarily jump to the starting room or jump to the starting position because we made this coaching hire. But I do think it's a coaching hire that moves the needle in the right direction for the entire linebacker room. I think he's done a good job of developing linebackers and a good job of coaching defenses. While he's never been the defensive play caller, when he was there in Buffalo helping out, they moved way north in defense, got way better. Even with one of their best players sidelined, they were ranked 18th in defense nationally and 23rd in third down stoppage, which for a MAC school is pretty unbelievable. So this is a hire that I like, even if it isn't necessarily a Shaun Dolac thing. I don't know if it necessarily has to be entirely focused on him. I'm not trying to say that that's not a factor. I do think it could be good for him, but I don't think we necessarily need to lock in on that for it to be a really good hire. I think overall we've made two really good hires here with Michael Hunter and with Robert Wright, two guys that are going to move the needle in the right direction on this defense, two more college coaches coming over that I think are the right picks from the college ranks to join Sean McVay's staff. I think Robert Wright and Michael Hunter both fit really well with what we need in terms of improvement at linebacker and at defensive back, and they fit with what Chris Shula wants to do as defensive coordinator. So if you're fired up about these hires like I am, I need you to hit this like button and like today's video. My goal for this one is to get to 300 likes. Can you guys make that happen for me? That would be absolutely huge. Let's go Rams, and I will see you guys in the next one.